Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the future, because it is
The
October 21st. My name is Jason, and I am joined with Michael, by Michael, for Michael, of
The
Michael.
whole Back to the Future talk all over Facebook and everything is really annoying. Is annoying me. Is it annoying you?
Why is it annoying you? Do you
I
not
gotta
like
hear
the
about it
movie?
from every one of my friends, and most of these people I'm hearing from are too young to even have fucking watched the movie when they were children. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a nostalgic hippie, not hipster, cool thing for them to like be talking about Back to the Future right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes
I'm
sense.
just tired of seeing it all over my feed. That's all.
It makes sense, but, like, I don't know, man. I like them movies. I thought,
Oh yeah, I loved the movies. It's just
I thought 1 and 2 were good. 3 was
I
kind
don't
of,
like how it's affecting my Facebook feed. That's
well,
all.
well, stop checking your Facebook for today.
I probably am done for the day.
But uh, I can't remember which one was the one that they went to the Western place, like
Right.
the Old West.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember.
I
which
can't
one
remember
either.
which episode,
It's
which
been
one that was.
very many years since I've watched those. Same thing with all the Star Wars, which all the Star Wars talk has got me to where I should at least respect it enough to just go back through and watch them again because it's been so long. It's been since I was a kid, really.
Honestly, I'm so glad that I don't care about Star Wars at this time, because
Yeah, it's craziness.
well, the tickets went on pre-sale a couple days, like yesterday, or the day before.
Uh-huh,
The site crashed immediately. Like as soon as they went on
It's still-
sale,
it's
site,
still hard to buy
boom.
them 48 hours later. It's still hard to buy the tickets. Dude, you're not going to be able to get a walk-up ticket to a theater for like 2 weeks for
Yeah.
that show.
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely going to be the highest grossing movie of all time, period. That's what everybody's saying, at least.
we'll see. It all depends how what the first crowd of people that thinks when they go see it. If they go to see it and they're like,
Do people care what other people say until they see it for themselves? Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? We'll
yes.
see.
It depends. How big
I
of a
hate
Star
critics,
Wars?
dude.
How big of a Star Wars fan are you? You know what I mean? It's gonna come down.
Oh.
No. I'm just saying in general. It's
Right.
gonna come down to something like that. How big of a Star Wars fan are you? Are you a huge Star Wars fan? Or are you just kind of like, it's okay?
I think everybody likes to think they're a huge Star Wars fan and that it's their gig. You know what I'm saying?
Because if you're just like,
Nobody will be like us and just admit it's whatever.
if you're just like,
to us.
it's okay, then you might want to hold off for probably about a month or two to go see the
Definitely.
movie. But if
Definitely.
you're a diehard Star Wars fan and you want to go see it immediately, then fine, go. More power to you. Whatever. You might get trampled on day one. Good luck.
Yeah,
That's
no
all I'm gonna
shit.
say. Because this whole hype behind the movie is like, what if? I'm not saying it is, but what if everybody goes to this movie day one, like midnight release or whatever? Boom, it's shit. It just sucks. It's not as good as the other ones, and everybody compares it to like episode 1.
Right.
And everybody hates it.
The second trilogy.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
everybody just hates it all of a sudden. Well, shit.
Well, we'll see. I don't think it's gonna bomb because they've got the proper people doing it. Is from what I hear. But I'm not very well versed in the whole movie universe. Fuck that! I don't even want to talk about this right now. You're depressing me. So how is that beer you're drinking?
What beer? I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea.
This is a perfect time to mention. Our listeners need to listen to our pre-show because the pre-show we just did was fucking awesome, dude.
What beer? I'm not drinking any beer.
It was awesome. And on note of the pre-show, I want to mention that we overhauled our entire Patreon. It's more affordable. We went to a per show basis. That way, if we ever for some reason don't get a show in, you're not paying for that show. If you're paying $5 a month and for some reason we can only get you 3 shows that month, that's not fair to you. So we're going to do a per show method. And we're going to be doing 4 shows a month until we hit a milestone goal, and then we'll go to 2 shows a week. This is all flexible. It could be changing. We could end up just throwing in one show, an extra show every other week or every month or whatever. But for right now, it's for we'll be doing 2 shows a week once we hit that milestone. But basically, the whole point of the Patreon for us is that I'm spending a pretty decent amount of money per month doing everything for the show because I like to have the best setup for the podcast. We have good hosting that's got unlimited hosting for podcasts. We've got premium stats hooked up to it. We've got audio editing software that we've purchased. I've purchased 2 different programs, and I pay a monthly subscription for another service that I use. And so all this kind of stuff adds up. The Patreon is just to help us continue to do this. I make enough money where I can just continue to do this as a hobby, but it would be nice to not have to be paying all this money out of pocket. And so Patreon's up there, and it's just for those generous enough people that like us enough to just donate a little bit. And if you do donate a quarter per show, you'll get a pre-show, and it's up on Patreon every week. There has been weeks where I've missed it. I'm not going to go back and re-upload those because fuck it, dude. I'm too busy. I just got a notice on my house for fucking lawn grass, dude. Like, you didn't mow the lawn, please mow your lawn. It's like, I'm just too busy to even fucking mow my little lawn, and I'm getting warnings and threats of fines and shit because I have an HOA with my house.
Yo, it's about time. You could teach your daughter to go out there and mow the lawn.
Yeah, she's only 4.5, you know.
Good enough.
So the Patreon, we've overhauled it. There's a couple different tiers, you know. You can donate whatever per show you want. We love you listening. We love you donating. We love it all anyway. Donating is just a way to show us your love. That's all.
As well as emailing us too, by the way.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say too.
Still waiting on those emails.
If you don't want to do it monetarily, let us hear from you. You know, give us an email. We'll be reading them on the shows. Give us a review. That would be wonderful. Whatever. We're starting to amp it up. We've put in some stuff to some different people, and we're going to start amping up the show and getting it rocking and rolling. And I feel like at this point, what do you think, Jason? I think we've got a real consistent format. We've got
I think this beer that I'm drinking is pretty good.
We've got a groove going on. That's the Hearthstone, or that's the Patreon update. I really wanted to get that out of the way on the top of the show. Everybody gets to hear it, and I'm gonna talk about that instead of some others. You know, I don't care about to talk about my week really.
This hoppy, delicious.
It's not
wheat beer that I'm drinking is really good.
If you're listening to the audio podcast, we had a discussion in the pre-show about beer because he said, "I got a beer. Are you going to drink a beer?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "I don't think that is a beer."
You can't mention it. They have to go listen to the pre-show.
But all I wanted to say is, for the audio listeners on the YouTubes, he decided to scrape off the label and put a piece of paper over it and try and pretend it's a beer. All right. The YouTube is a lot of fun to watch. Every once in a while, I'll just check it, make sure everything's formatted and flowing smoothly, and I'll just catch it that right on some funny moment. It's fun. It's fun stuff.
That's honestly going back to what Mike was saying about this whole thing. That's what we're doing it for. We're doing it because we enjoy it. Not, you know, would it be fun to do as a career? Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But is it to the point right now where we're like we're looking to do that? We're looking to advance it that far? I mean, we're trying to. That's why we have a Patreon up too. But
honestly, we just want more good listeners, more interaction with other people, because we're having so much fun doing this that it would be so much fun to interact with other people. Like the little news segment we did with Chris. That was amazing. And every time Jim talks about anything or writes anything, and that is so much fun for me. It really, for me to just have more interaction with listeners, you know, would be so much fun.
Yeah, and then like I said before in a previous podcast, we have Steam groups and stuff like that we already have set up. So yeah, but like Mike was saying, we're not going to be. This is what we're doing right now. We're doing this for fun. We're not, you know, if you listen, awesome, even better. If you want to donate, great, but you don't have to. Don't feel obligated to. There's no obligation to donate besides the fact that you'll get access to the pre-show.
Both of us have good jobs that make good money. We're just longtime friends, and we're doing this for fun. We don't need to do this for money. This is not something that we're doing, But on the same note, we do have families, and we don't need to be dropping, you know, a good amount of money per month into this if we don't have to. You know, yeah. It's not even that too. It's like, it's not that we don't. I feel like that's kind of disingenuous to say if we don't have to or whatever, because then you're just asking other people to help you pay for our hobby. I guess that's not really the point. We're putting a lot of effort into this, and I don't know, man. It's just
we're putting a lot of effort into trying to explain it too.
Yeah, we are.
I realize that.
So I wanted to say one thing about my week.
You just said you didn't want to say anything, so I was trying to fill.
One thing. I just want to. I want to have a conversation with you about something.
All right.
I started watching Sword Art Online. Okay.
Hit me with this. I'm ready.
So Sword Art Online.
I love it, by the way. For the record, for anybody listening, I love Sword Art Online.
Let me pause 1 second.
All right. So he's talking. I love Sword Art Online. It's actually one of my favorite animes that I've watched. Is there stuff wrong with it? Yes, there's stuff wrong with it. But I cannot do. Like, I look at it and I go, okay, great, cool. This anime is awesome. They're in an MMO world and they're like trapped there, right? What's not to like about that? So
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't even hear what you were saying, but my daughter just decided to come in and show her friends off to me in the middle of the show.
all right. Well,
So you were explaining what Sword Art Online is?
yes, and I was explaining how it works. Basically, it's an MMO that opens up. All these kids get on it, and they're like, "Yeah, MMO, cool." And there's this one dude that does
Virtual reality one. So if you've read Ready Player One, it's similar to that.
There's a couple of kids that this main story, or the main kids that the story revolves around. And what ends up happening is this guy traps them in the world.
Whoa. Okay, good. That's on the first episode. That's not a spoiler because there's some. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I thought you were going to say what ends up happening.
It's not a spoiler. That's the whole theme of the show.
Yeah, that's the theme of the show.
They get trapped in this world. So what?
I just thought you were going to say something else.
Shut up for a fucking second.
I'm just
before I end this podcast.
I'm recording it.
I'll end my recording
Your part.
and the YouTube. Shut it down. Anyhow, the designer behind the game.
The designer
behind the game. The designer behind the game.
A beer's getting you, buddy.
No. I'm trying to figure out what I want to say in advance. But the designer behind the game decides that he wants to have all these kids and people in his virtual world because he created it. He wants these people to experience it, right? That's what he wants to do. So he basically cuts off the ability to log out of the game. It's very similar to Dot Hack in that regard. So I don't know if you've seen Dot Hack or not. You might like Dot Hack more if you didn't like.
But I might make a good suggestion: get a free Audible account by going to like any podcast in the world that's hosted or that's sponsored by Audible. Use their code. Unfortunately, not ours.
Not yet.
And just go in and get Ready Player One. It's by Ernest Cline, and it's a similar thing, but it's a different spin. But it's a similar concept. And
I actually have it.
If you listen. Oh my God!
I have the book and I have it on my phone, but I haven't listened to it yet.
Well, listen to it because it's similar to It's really like Sword Art Online, and honestly, it's better than Sword Art Online.
All right, let me finish my synopsis really quickly. Okay. So the guy traps.
And then I'll get to my question. So at some point in my life, I'll get to my question.
Just shut up for 1 minute, and I'll finish this.
My penis itches.
Get your girlfriend, wife, fiance to come in and scratch it for you.
You gonna finish your thought?
Anyhow, the dude traps the kids in there. The only way to get out is to beat 100 levels of this game. There's 100 tiers, essentially. 100 floors. You have to get to floor 100 and kill the boss there to open the world up and let everybody out. The twist is, if you die in the game, you die in real life. That's the whole point behind the movie. Or the twist! That's the whole point behind the anime, is that.
All right.
So that's the general synopsis. I really recommend going to watch it.
Recommend.
Except for Mike's going to say he hates it.
Let me get into it now. It is spoiler time for that show now.
Okay.
So if the show sounded cool to you, how about you skip the next 5 minutes?
Oh,
okay?
You're going to do 5 minutes on this. All right.
We're going to do 5 minutes because I have a couple really key plot questions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask these questions and I'm going to ask him if it's even worth continuing to watch because these plot questions are bothering. All right,
so go to 18 minutes and we'll be done. I'll make sure he stops talking about 8 minutes.
No, I said 5,
18.
so it would be about 19 minutes.
No, 18.
19 and change.
All right, well, if we're counting, then, okay.
Learn some math.
We'll start right
now.
Awkward silence. No.
I could also just record a separate thing and just
right now 19 minutes.
All right. So with the show, I really loved the first part where they're in the game and he's doing the 100 levels. First of all, the fact that he gets to be done at level 75. What the fuck, dude? I feel like they just cut it short and I wanted to see the rest of the levels, dude. I wanted to see him grinding through the rest of the levels. And not only that, but it didn't take very long for the whole thing to turn into a love story. And I'm cool with a love story, right? But give me more of the grinding and the getting gear and the leveling up. That's what I love about that. That's what gets me. And they stopped it real soon, man.
You love your anime exactly like you like Diablo.
Yeah, exactly. And so, okay, so now they're doing the new game, Alfheim Online. And it's my first, where I'm at is the first episode that he's gone into that game. Okay. So I'm not past that. I'm like episode 15 or something like that. Yeah. So not very far. is it worth continuing to watch? Because I'm bummed out now. They've taken it out of this game. They've put it into the real
Okay.
world. He's trying to go save her. And I feel like what they're going to do is it's just going to be the dog chasing his own tail. And it's going to be, you're trying to save her out of here. And then you go to Alfheim and you save her. And then something else happens. She gets kidnapped in the real world. And then you got to go save her. And in the real world, you got to have to learn sword skills so that you can fight people in the real world now. And I feel like it's just going to be...
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. You continue to watch it. It gets better. I felt the same way.
You felt
You have to...
the thing right there?
Yeah, I felt like it slowed down a lot for me.
Are you keeping track of the time, by the way?
Yes, I am.
Sure.
Yeah, we're at 15:30 right now. According to YouTube, at least. I don't know what it's going to be when you edit this out.
Well, you're keeping track of that 5 minutes, because I don't know.
Yeah. At 19 minutes on my YouTube, it's been 5 minutes.
Okay.
So, where was I going with this? Okay, so I felt the same way. It starts slowing down a lot when they get to Alfheim Online, right? But in the Sword Art Online universe, if you're still interested in it, the Alfheim Online part, the realm of that anime, that game, if you will, is actually very, very pivotal to the series.
Oh, it's pivotal to it. Okay.
Because this Alfheim Online is like the good guy game in that whole series, right?
Really? Even though it's by the same corporation that took over and they're holding her captive and stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
The reason for this being, when they get... It gets really good. It starts to get really good towards the end because right now you're dealing with him trying to learn how to fly, right?
I had the first episode of Alfheim. So far he hasn't... Yeah, he had the controller. And
he's trying to learn how to fly.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember that.
So once the flying starts to take place... Leafa, the girl in the green,
right. Which is the most unimaginative name ever. Like she's this like earthy fairy in it. Leafa.
Anyway, when she starts getting him to explore the world and he starts seeing stuff, he starts fighting stuff again. They start fighting NPCs and mobs and things. So that whole part's coming up still. But if you're still interested in it, and if I say the next one, Sword Art Online 2. It
just came out on Netflix.
Is based around the same concept, essentially, kind of with a twist, but based around guns.
Oh no, I don't like guns.
If that's more interesting to you, then continue to watch it. But if you're not going to be a fan of guns, which I am, obviously, I thought Sword Art Online 2 was so much better than the whole Alfheim Online part of that anime.
I'm on season 1, episode 17, and I'm just barely into episode 17. Okay, so...
Continue to watch it. It gets better. It picks up. Right now, it's kind of like a filler, slow episode.
Okay. Does Netflix have the whole first season? Where are we at with time?
We got a minute left.
Okay. Does Netflix have the whole thing? Because I noticed, like, with Bleach, they don't have all the episodes.
I'm not familiar with it. I don't know.
I'm trying to bring it up so I can see, but my fucking internet has been useless lately. God damn it!
Look later. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
All right, well, I'll just keep watching it then. By your recommendation, I will keep watching it.
Yeah, I would keep watching it. I mean, worst case scenario, you spend 20 minutes an episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's short.
I mean, it's not that bad. And at any point, if you feel like, it's too boring now, you could always turn it off, read the synopsis for the rest of the episode, and if it sounds interesting, go back and watch it.
Okay.
Or even later on.
And I would love to... How are we doing on time? Because I don't have any more
15.
spoilers to talk about. 15 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll bring us out of it. Basically, I would love to be able to finish the whole thing and sit down and have a talk about it with you, like an in-depth discussion of Sword Art Online, kind of a spoiler cast.
So
wouldn't that be fun? We're back.
19 minutes. Now, here's the thing.
There's no more spoilers for the show. We've already gotten them out of our system.
If you liked, if you liked the first part of that, I hear that an anime called Log Horizon is also loosely based around an MMO. Actually, it isn't loosely; it is.
Okay.
Apparently, it's better. But personally,
Log Horizon.
Yes, I cannot
LOG?
watch. Yes, I cannot watch too much, at least, of the subtitled anime because of the fact that I get distracted going down and looking and watching the thing.
I agree.
It's something weird that I have. Same thing for movies.
I would much rather do an English dubbed anime. And I know that's not very purist of me to say, but I don't care.
It doesn't matter. It's whatever your preference is.
Exactly. That's just my preference. Like Bleach, I watched all the English episodes. Once the English episodes ran out, I stopped watching them, and I still have yet to go. I should. I will.
finish. Yeah,
That's one of my all-time favorites of all time.
I'm trying to tell Kayla to go back and
I
finish
can't
because she
even.
keeps
I don't even
watching
want to
these
get into
anime.
it. I could do this whole episode about.
All right, we're not talking about anime anymore.
Ugh,
We're done.
can't do it.
Done with anime.
All right.
I also found out that I need to stop like taking deep inhales in front of the microphone because I do that a lot.
Me too. Sorry.
I go like right in front of the microphone, and I'll keep talking. So, and then I'll blah 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 blah.
So I think we're okay for time still, but we really need to start getting into the show, right?
All right. So first headline I have: Twitch app now available on PS4. It's only taken them about 2 years to actually
Yeah, no
make a
shit.
fucking app. Even though that the fucking council originally released with a Twitch streaming capability on it. Yeah, so you just boop and you're streaming on Twitch. But don't worry, guys. If you want to watch the streams, you have to actually go into the browser on the PS4 and then go to Twitch.tv and then go to the user you want to do.
I do gotta say, how fucking hard is this to just make a goddamn Twitch app for the consoles? I mean, come on.
They did. They had a what was it? March 2014. They had one for the Xbox One already. It took.
Yeah, that's right. They were on top of it.
It took them fucking, what was this, 16 more months, 17 more months to make one for the PS4?
They're just sitting on their piles of money, just jerking off all over that
I don't
money.
understand this shit.
Season finale of Telltale's Game of Thrones releasing November 17th. So if you're into that, go check that out November 17th. Your turn.
I am into that.
Cool. I thought you said you didn't like the Game of Thrones series, or was it a different one?
No, I did not like the Game of Thrones series, but I was pretty much forced to go back and watch it. My buddy Jim actually gave me the Blu-rays.
Play it, right?
Yeah,
Or
Jim gave me the Blu-rays of the Game of Thrones.
I'm talking about the game, though.
I'm talking about the show.
Okay.
Gave me the
Make
Blu-rays.
sure you didn't misunderstand me.
No. Gave me the Blu-rays of the Game of Thrones, and he's like, "Here, watch these." And I'm like, "Oh, all right, fine." I didn't watch them. I sat on them forever because I was like, "Bleh, whatever." I told him, I said it'd be so much easier if I could stream it on my computer
Right.
because I'm always on my computer.
Right.
So I got an HBO Go login. I watched it on HBO Go, and I started powering through season 1. I finished season 1. I'm like, fuck, now I gotta watch season 2. So I started powering through season 2. I think I finished season 1, 2, and 3 in a matter of like 2 or 3 weeks. I finished all of them, and then I got caught up, and I was ready for the new season when it came out.
Right.
So I'm in love with Game of Thrones right now. I really am.
Oh.
So
you're excited about the game
now about the game.
because of it.
Me and Chris do family share.
Yep.
Chris actually ended up buying it because he told me I should go play it on his account, but there's 2 different games of Game of Thrones. There's one that's like an action RPG type Game of Thrones game.
Right, which is
and then
shitty.
there's Telltale's one, which is the
Right.
good one. I'm
Right.
like, you don't have the good one. He's like, well, check now, and he actually just bought it when he said that.
So he
So I
keeps buying
played
these
through-
games, but he says he can't buy a fucking good microphone. God damn it. God damn it,
I
Chris.
played through episode 1 of the game, and I actually loved it, but with those episodic games, I get in the mode where I just want to play more of them.
Yeah.
So I need to have the whole game released. That's why I beat episode 1 of Life is Strange, but I haven't gone back to it yet. The 5th episode just released, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to play through that whole thing. The 5th episode of the Game of Thrones is just released, so I'm going to go back. Well, we'll be releasing. I'm going to go back and play that all when it finishes.
I gotta say, I think that's the way to go because there's been shows or there's been things that have happened where I do them when they come out, and then
you
like
forget
this
about 'em.
podcast series. This podcast series is in every other week, and it's a fictional story-based podcast. It's called Lime Time. I don't know if you listen to it. I ended up stopping listening to it because it's a bunch of bullshit and it's fucking stupid. Anyway. So, but at first I was into it, and they released 1 episode every 2 weeks. By the time the second week came along, I forgot what the fucking episode was about, dude. So it's like I might as well just wait till the whole thing's done and just listen to the whole thing. If you're ever interested in listening to Serial, I would just suggest doing the same thing now. Serial has completed, so just go through and listen to the whole podcast Serial. And
Aren't they doing another season or something for that? Or are they making a show
apparently
for it? Or?
they decided what they're going to cover. So they haven't even I don't even know if they've started producing the next show, but they know what they're gonna do for it now.
I didn't listen to it, but that was always something I read, and I was like, this would be interesting to listen to, but I don't know if I'd be committed enough to do that.
Just give it 2 episodes.
From the episode 1?
Yeah, I would say give it 2 episodes. See if it hooks you.
How long are they?
Standard, I think hour long.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure because it's been a while, but
Yeah, if
they're not bad.
If I go over an hour, I start dragging a little bit, and I start falling asleep.
Dude, you know, they're very intriguing. It's for sure.
Well,
But
like I was telling you, I listened to a podcast called Lore.
Yes. I haven't tried listening to that yet, but I know you like it. So.
I fucking love it. And
Let's move on
currently,
to the.
he does
Sorry?
bi-weekly episodes. Currently,
Right.
a month of October, he's releasing one every
But
week.
his are separate entities. His don't relate to the
yeah,
other
completely
episodes.
different
So
stories.
bi-weekly is totally fine for him. But if you're going to do a narrative story-based podcast,
Yeah.
don't do it every other week
But
because you forget what the fuck is
He
happening.
does 20-minute episodes. Well, okay, they're 25-minute episodes, but if you take out all the filler, they're about 18 to 20 minutes of him talking about the story and explaining it to you, which is real digestible.
Yeah, totally. Easy
So,
to get through that.
The next one that I have is Square Enix planning on continuing to redo remakes.
To redo remakes?
To continue to do remakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so like eventually Final Fantasy X will get remade and stuff?
What I'm understanding out of what Square Enix has been recently doing, more mobile ports is what I'm understanding out of that.
Whatever.
Exactly.
Just made me depressed. I don't
Exactly.
care about that. Whatever. That's cool, I guess.
There's no details about what they want to do or what games they want to do. They just say that they want to go back, revisit some of their old IPs, and re-release them for the newer consoles, the newer platforms, if you will. And there was a very heavy mobile vibe that people got out of that. So that's how it was
You know what?
received.
I should just buy one of those games on my phone. Even though they're like $16, I should just break down and buy one of them and see how it translates, see if it works, because I love them, I want to play them, and if it's easy enough to just lay in bed and play some Final Fantasy, it might translate. And I know they've been selling good, and if they're going to continue to make them, that means that they must be doing good.
They're just so expensive, though.
I know, it's a lot. I
Honestly,
keep an eye out for sale. I think they go down to $7.
Honestly,
once in a while.
if they released Vagrant Story for mobile, I will buy that the second it releases.
Dude, everybody's freaking out because it's like, well, and there's been some news. I don't have any on here, but there's been some news about Nintendo's going to be coming out with their first mobile game soon. And everybody's like, you know what? Pokemon would translate so fucking perfect to your phone. Dude, do the traditional red, blue, and then yellow, and put those out on the phone. Can you imagine? Dude, I would eat that shit up.
So, literally, Chrono Triggers are released on here, $10. Final Fantasy 1's released $8. Now, Final Fantasy 1...
Those are cheaper than they used to be, I guess.
Final Fantasy 1 was released on the regular Nintendo, like, in '89.
Jesus.
Whatever the original release date was.
I've
don't
never
quote me on
played
that, I
any
don't
of those
remember.
old ones. I'm not going to lie. My first one was 7.
And then going up, Final Fantasy 3 onwards, and going past that is like...
$16.99.
$16. And then they have all the Dragon Quests on there, and Secret of Mana, which actually Secret of Mana is not a bad... $8 for Secret of Mana. This is on Android, by the way. Not.
Right.
I don't have an iDevice, but still, that's a lot of money to pay for a mobile game.
It's a lot. But who knows how many hours you get out of it. Maybe it would be worth it.
You know what?
That's why I'm just saying maybe I need to bite the bullet and try it and see how it goes.
They do have Final Fantasy Tactics on here, which actually I'm kind of intrigued by. It's the War of the Lines version, so it's the one that's on the PSP, and it's $14. So... I've beaten that game, I don't know how many times, but it's still a fantastic game.
Well, let's move on. Rovio, famous for making Angry Birds, has laid off 213 staff members.
Because they realize that there's no sustainability anymore in Angry Birds.
Probably not. They keep hammering it away. Star Wars version, Star Wars 2 version, Star Wars 3 version. Like, what the fuck can they do anymore? They had about 700 employees previous to this layoff, so that's a huge percentage layoff.
That's for a mobile game, too. A fucking mobile game is 700 employees?
That's a lot. But they were probably the biggest studio for the longest time. I mean, Angry Birds is not only a big mobile game, but it's kind of like an icon at this point, you know? That fucking stupid fat round bird is noticeable by everything. It's like the goddamn McDonald's arches.
All right. Well, Steam hardware is not Mac compatible yet. So if you have a Mac,
put this on a quick mention?
Yeah, dude. There's not much to talk about.
Holy shit.
Okay, I have literally 2 sentences that I got from that article that was just usable.
I didn't read the whole article because I just sent it to you, so possibly you're right. It
All right.
justifies
So
that.
Mac users ended up getting the Steam Link and the Steam controller. There's a compatibility problem, and they won't work with Mac. So Valve, being the all generous, knowing Valve, and praise Lord Gaben and all that.
Good. They're so good, dude.
Praise Lord Gaben. All of Valve's libraries, past, present, and future, have all been...
Past, present, and future.
You know, I let you finish a quick mention before I interrupt you.
Sorry, it's just it's blowing my mind. I'm sorry, it's just blowing my mind. I'll
Then
stop.
put your
I'll
mic mute on. So you guys can't see it because you're probably not watching the YouTube version, but he's making very, very animated moves while he's trying to yell at me. So I like having him muted. This is fun. So Mac users can also request a refund for the hardware if they want, but they can keep the Valve Complete Pack. Now, like I said before, the Valve Complete Pack consists of past, present, and future Valve games. So down the road, Half-Life 3 releases, Portal 3 releases, all these games release, and if Valve doesn't go by the way of free-to-play model anymore, they will all be, Mac users will get them all for free. Kind of wishing I owned a Mac right now.
I want to apologize for my previous antics.
Your outburst?
I realize now that I'm a little excitable. I got the concert coming up tomorrow. My little brother's going with me. I'm excited. Lots of good news. I'm excited to do the show right now. I want to apologize. I just need to drink more beer. I think that's the problem. One Life is a permadeath survival game. So One Life is a new game coming out. I was too lazy and didn't find out the developer. You can look it up in the article or just somewhere else. It's gonna be $10, and what it is when you die, you cannot play that game anymore on that Steam account. They will lock out that game on your Steam account. A grayed out play button, you can't do it. The only way, theoretically, that you could continue playing this game is if you made another Steam account and repurchased the game for another $10. The company actually stated, we hope that people don't do that and that they respect the spirit of the game being permanent death, one life, you're done. That's bullshit, because obviously they want somebody to make a new Steam account and buy the game again. It's got a little bit of a different system, though. It's not as simple as you kill somebody and they're done with playing the game forever. You actually have an option as the killer of that person. You can choose to forgive the person and give them another chance at the game. You can choose to humiliate the person. So, for instance, in the trailer, there was a scene where he was pissing all over a dude he killed. And you shouldn't have your mic mute on. I like the laughing reactions. And the third option is to finish them off. A thumbs up, thumbs down, or piss on them, pretty much. And the one thing that I thought about that was mentioned in the article was if somebody buys this game and they go to play it and they die within 2 hours, they could just refund it, right?
That's a great point.
So what do they do about that? And if they refund it, I mean, maybe they couldn't play it on the Steam account anymore, but that company didn't get their money. So.
I would be willing to try that. I would be willing to put this on my alt account, my alt Steam account for $10. Just run in and die for real fast. And then go in and request a refund.
And they put in there, they put a line that said, in order to prevent, this, we're going to put you in a very safe place. You can have a lot of time to gradually build up to going out and exploring the game. And that's probably because they're like, God damn, I hope these people play for 2 hours before they get killed. So I don't know. It just seems...
Okay. Developer, first off. It's a Russian developer. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name.
Right.
Kefir?
Yeah.
K-E-F-I-R exclamation point is how it's spelled. It's actually in Russian characters on one of the dude's shirts that I see, but that's the developer of the game. Visually, it looks really nice. Some intriguing character design as far as enemy types go. From the screenshots that I see, I didn't watch the trailer, but I don't know if I could dump $10 into a game like this and then be okay with just like losing it.
Well, I try to think about my value for time. How many hours do I need to work to get $10? Last night I did my average. I would have to work about 20 minutes to get $10. So I mean, it's not. I guess it depends. Like I don't eat out one day, or I don't eat fast food like for one meal. Instead, I go home and I make a sandwich.
You know what?
That's kind of the way I'm trying to value that $10.
While I agree with you, in order for me to get value out of a game, I feel like I need to get at least 1 hour of gameplay, excuse me, out of $1. That's a good ratio to me.
That's the standard ratio, but is that...
Especially for a game like this, for an indie game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to put $10 into it. Just give the developer $10 and be like, yeah, I'm okay if I die in 3 hours.
I do want to say this whole one chance thing is intriguing as fuck to me. Like, it makes me want to play it just because you only have one chance. It really does.
It's very intriguing. It sure is. But I don't know if I'm going to be willing to dump the money into that.
I don't know. It's not an easy decision. That's for sure. They're not making it easy to decide. So.
See, now I'm actually just browsing games on Steam. What'd you do?
So, did you have any more quick mentions? Because
I
got one more.
I have one thing I wanted to mention, but you can go ahead and finish yours.
Sweet banana pancakes. Konami. There was an announcement that Senor Kojima was leaving.
It didn't work. It didn't work. I apologize.
Senor Kojima leaving Konami. And there was a picture up on Twitter of his farewell party and all that. And then Konami came out and stated that he's not leaving Konami. Nobody knows what they're talking about, and that he's just on vacation. He'll be back shortly. And the picture that was posted of his farewell party, Konami states that they have no knowledge of Kojima's farewell party. So they just say he's on vacation. He's not He's not fired or quitting, or he's not leaving of any sort. He's still labeled as one of their employees of Konami on their website or whatever. So a little bit of interesting stuff happening there. We'll see what happens. Everybody's kind of just assuming that what he's doing is trying to get a slower exit, basically. You know, going on vacation before he quits. But going on vacation and using up your vacation time before you quit or whatever is a very typical thing to do when you're leaving a job, because you got to use up the vacation time. So.
Well,
we'll see.
The last thing that I have to mention is that the Earth is going to be ending on Halloween.
Shit! I hate it when the Earth ends.
Just kidding. Actually, there's an asteroid that NASA just found on the 10th of October. It goes by the name of 2015 TB145. It's clocking in at an estimated diameter between 950 to 2,100 feet, and it's reportedly going to pass by the Earth within nearly 300,000 miles. That's 1.3 times the distance between the Earth and the Moon. According to NASA, at least, that's where it's going to be. That's the projected trajectory.
So it's further out than the moon is.
Trajectory.
What are they worried that this could do? Could there be chunks falling off and come into our atmosphere?
They're not worried about it at all. They're just basically reporting that.
Just saying that it's going to be close.
Yeah, saying that there's going to be an asteroid that says hello.
So we'll see it, right? We should be able to see it.
I don't know. It depends how strong a telescope you got, probably.
Well, it's so close, though. I mean, think about how easy you see the moon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
1.3 times. It's just barely past the moon, so I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't blow up our moon. That would be tragic.
It hits the moon, knocks the moon out of orbit, and then the moon rockets into Earth.
Yeah, we're going to have to go to another galaxy.
We're going to have to die.
It's going to destroy our whole galaxy. We'd have to go to another one. Did you know that helium was discovered on the sun before it was even discovered in Earth? Like, the helium on the periodic table of elements, it was found on the sun before it was found to exist on Earth.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do a space podcast. It's fun talking about space.
All right, so let's get into some news. News. Is
that my cue to go?
News. I don't know. You can go.
I was just going to let you go as long as possible.
Just keep going. Fantasy esports are being targeted. Well, fantasy sports in general being targeted by the government, but as it relates to us, esports. DraftKings and FanDuel have been declared betting based on the notion that if it pays out money, it's betting, and this has been done by the Nevada Gaming Control Board, and alternatively, like, it also affects Vulcan, which, if you're not familiar with what Vulcan is, it's like fantasy sports but for esports, and you can do like League of Legends, esports, fantasy type things. If you're not familiar with,
I think Alpha Draft is another big one too.
Okay, yeah, and it didn't mention that in the article, but Vulcan is going to be affected for esports, and DraftKings and FanDuel are both the big dudes. Basically, what fantasy sports or fantasy esports is you pick players or you pick teams, however they perform, gets you points, points get you money, etc., etc. Vulcan has shut down all activity in Nevada following the ruling that Nevada made. Any company engaging in fantasy esports or fantasy sports, for that matter, will need to get a license to do so in Nevada from now on. Nevada is so fucking corrupt. If I listen to a lot of fighting podcasts like UFC stuff, and their gaming boards in general are so fucking corrupt because of Vegas and stuff like that. They're fucked. Anyway, over the weekend, Vulcan. Oh wait, yeah. Over the weekend, Vulcan closed all accounts held by players in Nevada, giving them until Sunday to withdraw their money. They had previously stopped contests the Friday before that, on the day that the ruling occurred. So the ruling occurred on Friday. The FBI and the New York State Attorney General are looking into FanDuel and DraftKings based on reports that employees are playing each other's service with inside information and in some cases taking home six figures. Michael J. Fox just got arrested for this. Michael J. Fox was betting on FanDuel or something like that with insider information and just got arrested.
Michael J. Fox, if you didn't know, he played Marty McFly in the smash box office movie Back to the Future.
You're in jail now, man.
I don't think he's in jail.
That's a tragic thing for this time, and this should be an exciting time in his life. He should be going to conventions all over the place.
I think
he should be signing girls' titties all over the place. Now he's
all over the place.
All over the place. Just like
I think if he was in jail, he would shake the bars so violently that they would just fall off.
Vulcan stated that their employees are not allowed to play fantasy esports anywhere else, but they are allowed to play other fantasy sports. You okay over there? You choking on your tongue? Tell Kayla to come in and pull your tongue out of your mouth so that you don't seizure on it.
I'm so terrible. I feel so bad for that joke.
In effect, basically, by getting a license to operate in the state of Nevada, companies are really they're declaring that they're not a fantasy sports company anymore, because getting a license gets them permission to be a gambling or a betting site. And if they do that, they no longer have the loophole of being a fantasy sports thing anymore. I think, you know what, to be honest with you, this whole thing is stupid. It's our money. If we want to bet it, fine. Like, why can't we fucking bet money? Like, why is it illegal to gamble? Do you know why?
It's not illegal to gamble in Pennsylvania.
I never even looked into it. Like, why is it illegal in a lot of places to gamble or to bet? I don't understand that. It's our money.
I have a casino right down the road.
Well, it might be in Indian territory, too. Is it Indian territory over there?
It's Pittsburgh.
Native American? Well, it doesn't matter. There was Native Americans in fucking Pittsburgh.
I don't fucking know.
Don't be ignorant. God damn.
I'm not the one being ignorant. You're the one going around blaming fucking Indians.
I'm not blaming Indians. I'm saying Native Americans have
goddamn Indians taking all our land.
Native Americans have different laws on their own land, so they're allowed to do casinos and gambling and betting and stuff. I just don't understand why in the first place it's illegal. If it's my money and this dude has his money, our money has both already been taxed. So if I want to gamble something with this dude and I want to lose or lose money or take his money, why is it any of the government's problem? It just doesn't make sense to me. They just want to cut the money. They want to double cut our money, basically. It just doesn't. It's infuriating. I don't understand why we're talking about this. And my next story even has something to do with gambling and stuff like that, and it's just frustrating. Like, why can't we just fucking gamble? What you looking up?
The Rivers Casino is not owned by Native Americans.
Nice. So it must just be okay in your county or your state or whatever.
Gambling is allowed in Pennsylvania.
That's awesome. That's the way it should be. But over here, really, you're only going to find casinos in Native American territory, and there's a lot of Native American territory in the Pacific Northwest. So they're everywhere basically. But it's just frustrating. So the FBI and the New York State Attorney are spending time and resources and to go out and find these people that are just betting money against each other for whatever the fuck, you know?
All right, so online gambling is a big thing, right? People, North America especially, is like, online gambling's bad, you can't do that, because what happens if it's on somebody underage and they're using their parents' credit card or whatever other reasons that they have? The point being, if you put your driver's license in, or your social number, or whatever, you have to have all this valid information. If you could put all that information in online, I would much rather, being somebody that doesn't like social interaction, doesn't like going out into big crowds, I would much rather play roulette on my computer than I would go stand around a table with a bunch of jerks elbowing me with their beer.
Of course, but it doesn't matter. Like whether it's online or whether it's in real life, they are still treating it as it's illegal, right? So they're saying that if this website wants to operate in Nevada, then they have to have a license. But I just thought about something though. Is it illegal because professional sports would rig their games in order to make money?
The websites, are they hosted in Nevada?
The actual servers, I doubt it, but they're probably not allowed to have accounts based in Nevada. And maybe they have servers all over the country, and the accounts are stored. No, that doesn't make sense. But for some reason or another, they're not allowed to operate their online.
Everything's stored in the cloud.
So any accounts that have Nevada addresses associated to them are being flagged, and they're being turned off by all these companies. Well, at least by Vulcan. I don't know about DraftKings and FanDuel. They're probably going to fight it, hopefully.
Oh, well. I mean, there's not much you can do about it.
Do you think that this is all illegal because basically it creates a scenario where professional football players are going to throw the game because then they're going to get $1 million because some dude bet $2 million and he's splitting the winnings? Like, do you think that's why it's illegal? Do you think that's a justifiable reason for it to be illegal, or
is that what they said? Is the reason?
No,
that's illegal?
I'm just asking, like, why is gambling illegal, and if that is the reason or a legitimate reason? Because couldn't you just if that's ever found out?
Hold on, my question is it only banned in Nevada?
Yeah, well, these websites are.
Then it's just a problem with Nevada's government.
But gambling in general is not legal everywhere. In
Nevada, you mean?
Everywhere in general. Like, you can't just go anywhere you want in the country and gamble.
Of course, but you have to put in certain prerequisites in order to qualify to put money into a lot of these services.
So you're talking about the website. So you have prerequisites.
I'm talking about any websites. Your story's all over the place, and I'm trying to keep track of what you're doing because for half of the fucking conversation, half of this conversation, I've been looking up my fucking casino that's down the road from me, trying to figure out if they're Native American or not.
Because you're not listening. That's why you're confused. So tell me what you're confused about.
I'm confused what your question is specifically. You're saying, do I think it's fucked up that you cannot do gambling on these websites in Nevada, or you can't do gambling on these websites anywhere?
Do you think it's fucked up that gambling is not allowed everywhere in general, like gambling in general? Because this falls under gambling.
Personally, I think it's fucked up. Sure, I do, because I think everybody should have the free will and right to do whatever they want to do with their money.
Common sense.
I also think that there has to be some kind of control behind it, because if you don't, then people that can't afford it, that shouldn't be doing it, will go out and do it.
That's
because it's a compulsive habit. True.
That's their fault, though.
True.
You can't regulate it and control it just because somebody can't control their actions. You know, like, you don't control how much people smoke because people can't stop smoking.
You do tax it a lot, though.
You tax it a lot, right? But money is already taxed, and you're spending your money in order to gamble.
Yeah.
And you're always going to lose. That's just the way it happens.
Do I understand why they do the things that they're doing? No, I have no idea why they do the things they're doing. No, they don't make any sense whatsoever. Do I know the solution? No, I don't.
Really, what I was doing was just ranting. And
you're trying to find somebody to rant back at.
Well, I'm trying to find somebody listening to my rant so that they can reciprocate. But you're not.
Well, let's hope we have actual listeners that fucking write to us.
Jim, let me know what you think about the whole gambling nonsense. But then again, you live in Pennsylvania, so it doesn't matter. Chris, let me know. Great, Chris, you don't listen to the fucking podcast. God damn it! Go ahead with your news story, sir.
So a little follow-up. This is going to be a short one. For Payday 2 microtransactions, I talked about this a little bit on Sunday. The developers Overkill actually came back and went... They didn't really release a statement by, like, why or whatever reasons behind it. But apparently their solution was to go, oh, you know what? Maybe it is a dick move. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make those drills that you have to pay for. We're also going to make them drop at the end of the matches, kind of similar how the TF2 and CSGO do it. You get random drop chance at the end of a heist. Mm-hmm. Apparently they're going to do that, and there'll be a random chance to drop one of these drills during that. But they're still going to be available for a microtransaction. Now,
A
I
random
think
chance.
I think this is scumbag as fuck, personally, but items obtained from safes now can also be sold on the Steam Marketplace for actual real money on the PC version. Boy, that sure sounds fucking familiar.
It's a shitty patch because
Now-
the random chance for drop means that you can't earn anything. You just have to hope it drops for you. So you're not contributing time in order to accomplish something in this order. Like you could play 100 games and just have the shittiest luck ever and never get one. But then you could play 10 games and get one for every game.
Yeah, now this patch just launched today, the 21st of October. For those that aren't aware, it is the future. But there is the new
Michael J.
patch.
Fox in jail.
The new patch also adds the First World Bank, which is the one of the original heists from the first game. Yay! I don't know many
Ooh.
people that are actually excited about that, but that's all the Payday news that I have. I honestly we talked about it literally 3 days ago. I feel the same exact way I felt 3 days ago.
course.
I still think it's just right now they're trying to do damage control because they have these people like we talked about last on Sunday with the 1,200 hours played in this game that are just dropping it now because they think it's a scumbag. But still, they're not really doing anything. The microtransactions are still there. You could still buy it. Sure, there's a chance you could get it, but what are those chances? Like 0.1%, if that?
Who knows? Who knows what they are?
So they didn't release what those chances that you can get this drop are?
And this is a good update to have. I mean, yeah, we just did talk about it, but this is necessary for us to cover. It's crazy. This is fucked up.
Still scumbag as fuck, so.
Scumbag as fuck. You and G2A, get in a room. We'll blow it up. StarCraft 2 match fixing. 11 people have been indicted on charges of match fixing in SC2. So far, the only two names released are player Yoda and coach Gerard of Team Prime. The name Yoda sounds familiar to me. I've seen that person play. The two people have been banned from KESPA, which is the Korean Esports Association, which is basically like, I don't know, consider it like a union for gamers, basically, in Korea. Since 2010, the association, this is a quote right here, sorry. Since 2010, the association has worked alongside the rest of the industry to fight against the illegal betting that has continued to threaten the foundation of esports. That's from a statement from KESPA director Cho Man-soo. It is extremely regrettable that a related incident has occurred again. We apologize to all the fans who have shown esports their love and support. So really just an apology from KESPA that this is happening. It's not them doing it, it's them trying to police it, but it's frustrating for Korea in general to have these match-fixed things happening. And this kind of goes back to the other thing we were talking about was, yeah, the match-fixing sucks. Like, if gambling and betting did not exist at all, match-fixing also would not exist. But at the end of the day, you should be allowed to do what you want with your money, I think. So the match fixing people need to get creative and figure out how to de-incentivize match fixing. It's just the bottom line.
Well, there's always been match fixing, and it's always been a problem to the point where it's always been something that is air quotes punishable. So
it should be.
Yeah,
because people are profiting. People are profiting. It's anyway.
Yeah.
KESPA was informed of the two players illegally betting from an anonymous source seeking a reward. Before finding out that the two people had already been arrested as a result of an official investigation into related to this. I got to put a comma there because I didn't write that correctly.
I thought maybe it was just the beer getting to you.
No, it's. I write all the show notes, but I read the articles and then I write my own show notes.
You write your own show notes. There you go.
I read the articles and I write my articles, or I write my own notes, right? But sometimes there's a couple sentences that are similar, and sometimes I mess up the stuff.
Carry on.
This is one of many accounts of this happening in Korea. If you want to see some more examples of the fixed matches happening in Korea, read the article that we posted on the show notes. And there was one, for instance, that it was a League of Legends player got accused of match fixing, and he came out, said, yes, I did, or was it he or she, I don't remember, came out and said that they did match fix, and then they killed themselves. Really, really sad story.
There was a attempted suicide by one person. I think this is what you might be talking about.
I thought it was a successful suicide, but I might have misread the article. So I don't want to misspeak. Attempted or actual suicide. Still sad, regardless.
What I'm talking about, the story I'm talking about, what ended up happening was it was between the manager of the team told the kids that were on the team to throw this game so they can get a lot of money. So they did, and then it came out via suicide note from this one kid.
Right.
Wrote out, hey, this match was fixed, payments were made, changed hands, etc., etc. Jumped out of, I can't remember what story it was, like maybe an 8th or 10th story building, I can't recall what it was. Fell down into the garbage room, actually landed on a trash bin, ended up saving his life.
That's unbelievable.
So he was
so
he was paralyzed for a little bit, hospitalized and laid in bed and stuff, and eventually, I think he's made a full recovery since then because this happened maybe about a year ago or so.
I just got back on Saturday from a funeral of a family friend who committed suicide, and he was 24 years old. And it's the saddest thing to think that these kids feel like they have no other option, and then they just kill themselves. And it's just unbelievable. And I'm glad he's okay, and hopefully he's able to mentally.
Yeah, I don't remember what the dude's name
get
is. Otherwise,
get stable
I'd look it up
and
right
stuff.
now.
But it's unbelievable.
Well, speaking of League of Legends, weird shift change here, but League of Legends is doing a whole name-changing crusade
Actually,
right now.
proper shift change, actually. That would be called a good transition into another story.
I thought we were going to mention that.
I hate that so much, dude. It just makes me want to punch somebody in the face when they say that on a podcast.
That was a good transition.
Stellar transition, bro. Good job.
Anywho, do you have a naughty name in League of Legends?
No, my name is Hoax, spelled backwards.
I wasn't actually asking you. I was asking the audience.
I'm so sorry. Do you have a naughty name in League of Legends? Let us know at trainnoobs@gmail.com.
Because if you have, it's probably been changed by now, and you probably have some steps that you have to do to correct it and get your name changed back.
Oh, shit.
So Riot is offering a free name change. But what you have to do is you will have to actually complete 2 different surveys, one before and one after playing 50 games with your new Riot assigned name.
It's a lot of games.
They gave you a name, and then you need to go play 50 games of it. You take a survey before you play those 50 games, and you take a survey after you play those 50 games. So, essentially people are saying it's a narcissistic test, or a test for narcissism, because, for example, now, by the way, the second survey takes about a week to get to you. So, for whatever reason, they have to process that second survey, I don't know. Now, some of the questions range from, in the first test, to I like to be the center of attention, to I like having authority over people. They're multiple choice questions. So you get to pick which ones, you think would be more relatable to what you do. Well, then there's a multiple choice in the second survey. There's a multiple choice frequency chart. So essentially you get to check, from on a scale of 0 to 6, how many times in the past 7 days, and then it gives you options. Some of the answers: I threatened to hurt or hit someone, I teased someone to make them angry, and I got into a physical fight because I was angry.
Do people ever honestly answer these questions?
So they want you to honestly answer these questions on a scale of 0 to 6 times. How many times in the past 7 days have you done this? Now, I wrote a little, in my own show notes, I wrote really quickly what my personal thoughts are, and I'm just going to read this because it's going to be much faster, much more clear and concise, because I thought about this before when I was actually writing my show notes. So, I go on to say, personally think this is a good thing. As someone getting back into League hard, I'm finding more and more people that just think it's a good idea to be assholes. Throw all the narcissistic people into a toxic queue like Dota 2. Now, if you're not familiar with this, the way Dota 2 does it, if you get reported so many times, you will all get put into a low priority queue. Those low priority queue people in that area or whatever get put into this queue with all other low priority queue members, and then you all go into a game, and you get to play with other toxic assholes. So,
Which I love. I love it so much.
I think they need to do that, call it a day, and then the people that want to enjoy the game and play it for fun, like me and a bunch of my other buddies, can actually enjoy yourself again.
They don't want to copy them.
Because so many times have I gone into a League game, it literally just happened. Literally just happened yesterday. I got put into a game of League, and it was the most toxic experience of my life. I literally, now, of course, I'm 29. I can take care of myself a little bit better now than I could when I was 14 or whatever. But they were harassing me the whole time. And I'm telling the other team, I'm like, listen, report these fucking kids. There's 3 other people on my team that were being toxic as fuck to me. Just me. Because I was the only one talking and putting shit back at them. Mm-hmm. But they were just targeting me because of everybody else. And this put me on tilt so fucking bad because I don't want to deal with your bullshit. I come home to sit down in front of a game and play and relax because I work from 7 o'clock to 3:45. I had to figure out what my hours were for a second.
So check it out. I do want to say one thing about this. 50 games, if you average a 40-minute game, which I'd say is about average, right?
Yes.
33 hours. You have to play it for 33 hours.
Moral of the story is don't have a mean name or a nasty name.
Yeah.
Or a naughty name.
That'll never stop. So.
Yeah, well, people think that once you're on the internet, you're pretty much immune to anything, so they'll spout all the bullshit that they want to spout.
People learn more and more that you are so not invisible on the internet. It's just not a thing.
So
in fact, you're more visible than you ever were on the internet.
The best feedback I have for anybody that listens to this podcast, either now or in the future, is going to be if you play an online game with somebody, if they start talking shit or start harassing you in any way, as long as there's a mute option, which there should be for most games that are released nowadays, mute them, because they're never going to change. The whole duration of the game, they're going to stay the same toxic as fuck attitude. Just mute them and be done with it and forget they ever exist.
When I play Hearthstone, the first time that somebody finally retakes the board from me and they say, well played, I'm like, fucking squelch, I'm so done with you right now that you can go in the same room with Overkill and G2A. Fuck you.
So, yeah, I just don't understand it, but...
And don't try and fight it. You are going to drive yourself crazy. It's so much more peaceful to just think that you're going to go on to do big, bad things, and those people are just going to constantly be trying to fuck with people, and they're never going to get anywhere. So.
Honestly, that's my biggest downfall right there, is that I try to start shit again. I try to go back, and I fight with them. Because I'm that kind of confrontational person that if you poke me, I'm going to poke back, and probably harder.
Or you'll punch in the head.
So what I did yesterday was I went back at these kids. I'm assuming they're kids because they couldn't spell right. They didn't know how to grammar, and they just kept using all these words out of line, out of sentence, like a weird fucking robot. Anyhow, I went and told Kayla. I said, "Listen, I had the worst experience that I've had in League in the past year," and I explained it to her. And after I finished explaining the whole experience to her, I'm like, what am I doing? I got upset literally over nothing. I could have muted these kids and moved on, and I would have been done with it. That would have been it.
I understand where you're coming from. It's hard to do that. It takes a strong person to be able to just say you really don't matter. You could say it all day where you just say those people don't matter, so just ignore them. You could say that, but to actually live that lifestyle, it takes a strong person. It really does. And what I'm saying is you're a weak baby back bitch.
So I know. Oh, I know.
Just fucking with you, buddy.
One of the things that's really recommended to do, if that really gets on your nerves, get in the habit that if you join, especially something like League, there's a command in League of Legends, do / mute all one word, and it mutes everybody in the game, even on your team. That way nobody can say anything, and it's like you're playing a single-player game just with idiots.
When I played League, I used to always mute the opposing team. That's a setting in the gameplay options.
Yeah, it's defaulted to that when you make a new account and you start playing. The other team is muted.
And you know what? One of the things I love about Hearthstone is it's annoying when the emotes start happening and they start trolling you for the emotes. But if you get into a game and you just squelch somebody, you can't even type to them anyway if you wanted to. It's very low stress in that sense. Well, they did it the right way with that.
You're done with your stories, right?
Yeah.
Because I have a quick thing I wanted to mention about Hearthstone.
Yeah, me too.
I wish There was a chat box in Hearthstone today because I needed it. This motherfucker.
You're going back on
This
what you just
motherfucker played a light spawn.
Oh, yeah.
Gave it +3/+3, and then doubled its health.
How did he give it +3/+3?
Motherfucker stole my card.
Okay, he stole your card.
Actually, no, it was sorry. It was +4/+4. Because
What's
what's
doesn't have a plus? Oh, so you were
I
paladin.
was paladin. I
And he took
had
your,
Blessing of Kings.
Blessing of Kings, right? Okay.
Yeah, took my +4/+4. What does light spawn start as?
5/5.
Okay, no, then he just gave it +2/+2 because it went up to 7/7.
So no, what he did was he casted Power Word Shield or whatever it is. It
Yes,
just gives +2 health.
Yes, exactly.
And then he draws a card. But the way that light spawn works is its attack is equal to its health.
Yeah, so he played light spawn, then he played Power Word Shield, and then he doubled its health.
Yep.
And then he doubled its health again.
Divine Spirit and Divine Spirit. So it was at 28.
28.
Yep.
I was at 30.
Do you want to know why that's a bad card?
The reason it's a bad card is because I could have killed it that turn.
You
That
just
it
have
was
the
that it was a 7/7. I don't have silences in my paladin deck.
Yeah, that happens. You should be running owls in most paladin decks, but anyway, go ahead.
I don't know if I have that, but regardless, what
They're
I
basic.
what I tried to do. Fuck you.
They're common cards. You should
What
have
I
them.
tried to do was I tried to play oh god, what is the it's the guy that switches the attack to 1.
Yeah. Follows the rules.
I didn't have any other plays to make, so I was like, this probably isn't
That's a
gonna
good play.
work. This probably isn't gonna work. So I played it and I tried changing its health
Oh, that's right.
or
It
its
doesn't work.
its attack to 1. Doesn't
doesn't
work
work.
because it's health. Yeah. So
I forgot
it was
about
still
that.
28-28.
Yep.
So I at the time I had a divine.
And equality would have worked. Equality would have made it 1 health.
Boy, if only I could draw anything in that game.
I know. That happens, though. And you can't
So I had a. Here's the worst part. End of the game, I was at 26 HP. He was at 1 HP.
Oh.
Here's the problem. If it was the turn before, instead of trying to clear his one fucking minion that was on the board, his like random 3/2, and I hit him in the face instead,
Yeah.
I would have hit him in the face for 4 damage. And I would have won that
Hindsight's-
fucking game.
Hindsight's
And I
20/20.
got so mad at myself, I went on tilt. I was on the bus, so I was like, fuck this, I'm playing another game. Bam, hit another game, I get a Warlock. You know what I did? First thing I did, I fucking misplayed.
Oh, yeah.
I
Can't play on tilt.
I put a 4/2 weapon out. I still had 1 use on it. I played another 4/2 weapon.
Well, at least you got the whirlwind effect.
Immediately
Conceded.
Fuck
Dude,
this.
it's
I was
hard to
done.
lose to gimmicks like that. Look, gimmicks like that will never be in competitive play. They'll never go up in Legend. They'll never get high ranks. They're gimmicks. They're just fun ways to play the game, and it sucks to lose to that. I totally understand.
That Warlock had such a fucking good opening. He played.
Yeah, you would have probably, if they have perfect openings, it's hard to win anyway.
I had a shielded mini bot out that I played turn 2 because I got I played first.
You first turn.
I did
so
not
second.
get coin.
Right.
He coined out Succubus, discarded Frostwolf. It gets +1/+1 for every minion that's on the board.
Okay.
I can't think of what it
That's the. It's a shitty card, so I'm having a hard time remembering. But it's a 2 mana 2/2 or a 3 mana 2/2 +1 for everything on the board.
Yes.
Right?
Frostwolf Captain or fucking something, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Anyhow, he played the Succubus, which is a 4/3, hits me in the face 1 round, and then I'm like, all right, well, I gotta kill it, so I run my shield and minibot into it the first time, it hits me in the face again, I have to run my shield and minibot into it again. So I lost my shield and minibot, but I still took 8 damage to the face by the time I got my weapon out. I was like, fuck, I'm already too far gone in this game. Plus, then I fucking went on tilt, played another. It was a terrible day at Hearthstone, so then I went back and played my priest deck, and I won 2 games in a row when I got home, so. Good
Well,
enough.
if you're having frustrations with Hearthstone, let me tell you about something that just came out that has me drooling over Hearthstone right now. Hearthstone, it's Hearth Arena. So right now, go to heartharena.com while I'm talking about this. What it is it's a website.
Want me to go to that?
Yeah, go to heartharena.com
Oh, okay.
because I want you to see it. Because I want you to start playing this, and I think you'll like it a lot. It's for arena, okay. And what's beautiful about arena is it's a perfectly even playing ground, right? You are drafting random cards just like somebody else, so you
Yeah,
don't have to worry about the
I use
frustrations of
this.
somebody else having
I
cards.
have, I
So
have an
do
account
you?
in here.
So have you used the overlay?
There's an overlay that they just
Okay, the
announced.
overlay just came out and it is fucking amazing, dude. It is so good. It overlays on your game and it shows you what cards are the best choices and for what reasons, and it shows you what cards synergize with your decks and what cards synergize with other cards,
So
and it helps you build your arena deck.
I've
And
done.
it
Go ahead, finish.
I was just gonna say, and it gives you like a paragraph on top explaining the choices and
Yeah.
everything, and then it gives you card tier ratings.
Yes.
So like this card will be an 80, this card's a 20, but it does it all on your screen. And then after you're done, it shows your whole deck list on on the left side.
Yep.
On the right side, it shows your win loss ratio, and it also shows what rating your deck was. So for instance, I chose a rogue deck. I've got a tier rating of 65, which is pretty decent. Right now, I'm 6-1 in the arena, and I haven't finished it yet because I don't have time, but. I'm in love with it. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be playing. I'm going to attempt to be what they call an infinite arena player, which is as long as you're getting 7 wins in arena, you'll make all your money back, and you'll just play arena forever for free.
So I've used this website before, and I've tried drafting with it, but I must have just got a terrible draft because I did exactly what it said, and I think I went something like 2 and 3.
Now,
I only got about
sometimes
2
you just
wins.
sometimes you have shitty choices,
So-
and what will happen is if you have a shitty draft, that happens. They'll rate your deck, and you'll know if you have a low-rated deck. Like if you have something below 60, you know you have a shitty deck because you just had shitty choices.
Yeah.
And you don't always want to take what they suggest. Like for instance, I picked 2 or 3 cards that it didn't suggest. I did something different just because of a different reason. Like if they were the makers of this said, if it's within 5 points, really it's just up to your discretion at that point.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I've used it before. I liked it. I thought it was interesting, but I didn't like the fact that I had to keep going into the game on my one monitor, go over to the website, and check what I was doing.
And you don't have to do that anymore.
So I might use it more.
The overlay is flawless. It's beautiful. It's all on one screen.
Yeah,
Um,
especially if it helps me pick out cards and stuff and kind of
It
give me
does.
an idea of
It
what
helps
I'm
me.
doing.
I've played lots of arena. Like I've gotten 12 wins plenty of times before on my own without the overlay, and this overlay made it so much nicer for me. And I've played tons of it, so it's a beautiful thing.
I'll have to try it out because I need to go back right now and I need to play and get rank 20 so I can get my card back for sure. But
Right. Well, it won't affect your.
no, I
construct,
know, but
yeah.
I need to play. What I'm saying is I need to play Hearthstone a little
You
bit
need to play
more
some
towards the
Hearthstone,
end.
right.
So, all right, well, is that it?
Cool. That's the show.
We're gonna wrap it up, boys and girls. So, if you liked what you hear, please go check us out, trainnoobs.com. We're on the Twitter, we're on the Facebook, we're on the Twitch that we don't stream on actually.
I want to do a special pimp for @TrainNoobs on Twitter though. Get to us there because that's where we're going to announce when we are, or that's where we're going to announce our new episodes have been released. If we ever stream, that's where we're going to announce it. We're just going to we both use that account. So I want to pimp that. So if you're listening to the show, just follow @TrainNoobs.
Also,
Do it.
if you follow me on Twitter and you tweet at me, which is at its nerves with Z's because I'm edgy, I will get the alert straight on my phone because I don't have the Train
I get
Noobs.
them on my TrainNoobs.
I don't
too,
have the
though.
Train Noobs account on my phone. So,
It's easy to set up.
but I have TweetDeck on my computer that I load into occasionally when I'm sitting in front of my computer. That I have both my personal account and the Train Noobs account in it, so I'll see it. Plus, we also get email alerts when somebody tweets us. We might turn that
Well, you
off.
can tweet
if we
at
get-
TrainNoobs and I'll see
busy,
it too.
but-
It's hooked up to my thing, so whatever.
So yeah.
Anyway,
Anyhow, go check us out, trainnoobs.com, tnoobs.com for short. Send us
I will
some-
mention real quick. I just added the RSS link to the bottom of the trainnoobs.com website. So I just checked about 15 different podcast apps for Android. The podcast works in all of them just fine. But if you ever come across a podcast app where it's not working, the RSS link is on the bottom of the website. All you have to do is just copy paste it into your podcast app. That's all you got to do. Like there's usually a section where you enter your own RSS feed in for a podcast app. So that's there. Update for the website.
It sure is there. It's a big old button at the bottom of the screen.
Sure
Cool.
is there.
All right. Well, thanks for checking it out, guys, and I hope you enjoy the future just as much as I do.
Later, noobs.